Hey guys, if you'd like to see how I made this super shiny shimmery beach canvas with lots of items from Craftbox UK, then please keep watching. I had so much fun with this one and I hope you will too. Hey guys, it's LJ here. So today I thought I would create a mixed media canvas piece. I have this canvas from either the Works or Poundland, so I'm going to do some bits and pieces on this using some of the items from Craftbox UK. Okie dokie, so what I have got is I've got my two craft boxes that are beach themed. So we have one which was very recent, so March 2020, which is a sort of nautical one, and then we have the card tell me when this was, August's craft box. So both of these were sort of beach sea life style theme boxes, and then they had a sale on recently, and so I treated myself to a few bits and pieces. So for the snip art beach themes, I got these shells, and these were for some other projects. I then got this small frame and internal pieces, this large snip art anchor. I got the doesn't actually tell me what the name of each piece is. So this was a an animal themed sea. I think this was the small and this was the large, if I remember correctly. But I've got all of those. I've then got some snip art sentiments. We will definitely come back here. I want to stay, our memories, sun, we're in paradise, summertime, sunny day, sand, tropical adventure, lagoon of dreams, life is a beach, wonderful moment, beautiful and sea. And then I got this one, which has got three ship wheels and the anchor. I got these bubbles, which again could work for a potion or for under the sea. And then I got this seaweed. Okie dokie, so we're going to start off. I've got all my bits out, got my acrylic paints ready and my gesso. So I'm going to do a base layer of gesso on the canvas. This isn't the best gesso, it's very thin. I didn't really know what I was looking for. I just bought the first gesso that I found. Wouldn't buy this again or recommend it. It's not very good. But so I put 2 layers of gesso on. Made sure to try and sort of get it as smooth as I could with the not great gesso and the not great brush, to be honest. But hey, it's my first time doing this, so you live and you learn. And then I started thinking about where I was going to add different elements to the canvas. So I started off with some of these gorgeous shells. And one of the things that I always used to worry about was matching colours and making sure everything would work. And I've now sort of realised that actually it doesn't matter what it looks like before, we're all waiting for the after effect. So slightly off camera, but there we go, I do adjust it. I did a sort of selection of these shells, different sizes in this corner. I then had a couple of other shells, one which I'd collected myself, and one which came from Craftbox as well. And I just did these all around the bottom and glued them on with some Ranger matte medium, which is absolutely brilliant glue. So I stuck all the shells on with those, and then I covered them with another layer of gesso as well while it was drying. I probably shouldn't have, because the glue wasn't dry and the shells did shift a little bit. So actually when you see the way I've arranged them here, they look slightly different in the final piece, because when I decided to cover them in a layer of gesso, that did sort of jog them slightly. So I've got my wooden snip art pieces also from Craftbox, which I'm just adding on with the matte medium. I sort of had an idea of where I wanted the anchor and the sentiment, and then I just sort of built the rest of it around that. I knew I wanted the shells at the bottom, so it had a sort of under the sea heavier base, and then all the lighter pieces graduating up to the top. what I did discover was once I'd got all these bits on that actually I didn't quite have enough pieces, so I did have to go and dig out a few more. But I absolutely love these snip art pieces. They are just so cute. So I've got a couple of sizes of long tall seaweed. I've got a sort of curly seaweed down at the bottom. Got a couple of shells. We've got a starfish there. We've obviously got the ship's wheel and the large jellyfish. I then also got out a crab, some bubbles and some smaller bits of seaweed just to sort of add around, give it a bit more of a full picture vibe. I kind of wanted to make sure it didn't just look stuck on. And again, this is sort of where I struggle and why I've not done this before, because I tend to really overthink it and I'm like, oh god, will that work there? Will this work there? And having watched other people who do it, I'm absolutely fascinated by the way their brains work and how they do it. So I just tried to sort of let myself be led, really. And then I remembered I had these gorgeous drusies, but they're not traditional drusies, they are mermaid scale shaped ones, which I thought were really, really beautiful. So I used all these circular ones, I think. Or did I put... no, I did all circular ones. And again, at this point, I was trying to think of colours. And then I had to correct myself because I'm going to paint it all white. So this is my third now coat of gesso on the base and my first coat on all the pieces. So as you can see, the shell is wobbling as I'm adding it on. The wood pieces were absolutely fine. They went on perfectly. But the shells did wobble because the glue hadn't set yet. So that was my own fault. So it will look slightly different when you see it after the coats of gesso. But I just covered everything, giving it a nice white base to start from. And then I let it dry overnight because I wanted to make sure everything was completely dry. The next morning I came and gave it another coat of gesso. Just to check any bits that I'd missed, so sort of the sides of the wood pieces, which are a slightly darker colour. I gave that time to dry and then I put it in my spray box. This is just an old cardboard box that lives under my craft desk. This blue spray and the purple spray are stunning. They are shimmer sprays from Craftbox UK. I've also just got a bottle of water there that I'm using to dilute it a little bit. There is a green, at the moment a gold and a silver spray down at the bottom, which are sprays I made myself using acrylic paint. If you would like to see how I made them, please say down in the comments. I'll happily do a video on that. So yeah, I decided against the gold, but I'm using the blue and the purple, which are from Craftbox, and then the green and silver, which are my own. And I just went through different layers, spraying it on and drying it, spraying it on and drying it, checking how it looked from different angles, making sure that I got some colour in the deeper bits between those shelves to make it look darker. I then thought about the sides because the sides were very, very white. And so I decided to sort of let the colour seep over where it was. So down the bottom is a lot of purples. What I did was I just sprayed some extra purple on, rubbed it along the bottom so that there isn't a white edge, because it was looking quite stark from the sides. Which normally I would do. I would be like, yes, nice white edges, keep it looking neat. Again, something I've learned about. So here we go. I'm just spraying on similar colours to what's on the front down the sides. And it's not making it particularly dark, just so that it's not a white edge. Then I got out my metallic acrylic paints in silver and purple, and then a blue and a green, just to add some details in once everything was dry. So I did a little bit of dry brushing over some of the shapes. So I did each of the sort of mermaid drusies a different colour. That blue was very, very dark, so I did lighten that up in the end. And I just sort of went over, dry brushed over on them to pick up some of the details that were involved in it, which I actually think worked really nicely in the end. There's that blue that I've lightened up, and the green, and then I lightened the green up as well a bit. Then I let it all dry and decided I didn't like the dark eyes on my jellyfish, which I'd originally thought would look nice like a shadow, but it didn't. It just looked really sort of odd in amongst all the other lighter colours. So I went over that with silver, and then I painted my anchor silver. Unfortunately, it didn't work very well. The wood was very porous, so it did just sort of absorbed the paint. I did do 2 layers, and it still wasn't really sort of looking metallic or shiny or nice at all. So I changed tack. I did a layer of white acrylic paint first. Well, over that silver I did a layer of white acrylic paint and then another silver. And then I wanted to do a wood grain effect on the sentiment. So I got a spare piece of the snip art, so it's the same wood, just a piece of rubbish. And I rubbed on some different inks and things just to see what effect it would have on that specific type of wood. And from that I decided that the rub-ons were the best colour choice for it. So just using my finger, using the gold at the top and a little bit of that bronze in the middle, rubbed it over to give it a really nice sort of wood grain effect. It is a wood piece, but it was very, very pale, and I just wanted to give it a little bit of oomph to help it stand out, really. And then added my anchor on at the top because I knew exactly where I wanted it. I'd saved myself the space for it. And once that was on, I figured out where I was going to put the sentiment. I ended up with it half on and half off, after sort of wiggling around and deciding where I wanted it. Again, using this Ranger matte medium. This stuff is brilliant. I need to get a bigger bottle of this. This stuff is awesome. So I've put my anchor on and then adjusted it and thought about my sentiment. And I'm not sure whether I should have tried to prop up the other side of the sentiment because I've got it half hanging off. So Life Is and the BE are going to have glue on them to stick it to the top of the anchor. But A and the ACH of Beach have nothing underneath. Now, nothing's going to be pressing on top of this, but I am just a little concerned that maybe I should have done something to prop them up, but I don't know what because they're so thin. But anyway, I will see how it goes after a time, but I am so super happy with this. Just used my T-ruler to make sure it was nice and straight, and we are done. Hey guys, so I have finished my gorgeous sea-themed canvas. So this was just a plain canvas. This is actually, I should probably tell you, I'm sure it said at the beginning, this is 10 by 8 inches, which is 25.5 by 20 centimetres. So it's just a plain canvas. I decided where we live in Ireland, where my other half's family live in Ireland and where I'm planning to live at some point, there is a beach called Anchor Beach, and it's got a huge anchor. So when I saw the anchor piece and the Life Is a Beach, I knew I had to use those pieces. So what I did was I did the anchor in silver. It wasn't showing up very well, so I did a white layer, then more silver, and that really popped it. And then for the Life Is a Beach, I've got these metallic rub-ons in different colours, and I just used the goldy and a little bit of the bronzy one to give it a sort of darker wood grain effect so that you can actually see the wood. So I'm just going to, I'm hoping that the camera can pick up as I move it like this all the shimmer from those sprays, because it is just so shimmery. And what I did was I just let it run down, the same sort of colours run down these sides, just so that it wasn't a stark white edge once it's on the wall. And I absolutely love it. This is the first sort of canvas I've ever done, and I really, really like it. So yeah, I kind of got my inspiration from the lovely Dawn over at Shiny Silver Treasures, so I will link her channel for you because she is absolutely amazing at doing things like this. And I watch her do it and I just think I don't understand what she's doing, why she's making that decision, and then at the end it's incredible. So this is my sort of ode to her. This is my attempt at doing something the way she does, and I absolutely love it. And this is going to go on the wall in my craft room when I decide which side of the room I want it. Although I am tempted to put it up in our kitchen, because in our kitchen I've just done the light up beach sign, so maybe I'll put it with that. I kind of want to keep it to myself though. Who knows? Anyway, I'm going to stop blathering on at you. Thank you very much for joining me today, guys. Keep crafting and I'll see you soon. Bye.